We're back now at 7:43 and this morning on Getting Out Alive, surviving a plane crash. You may be surprised to learn not only is it possible, it's actually likely if you make the right split-second choices. Today's Lester Holt is here with more on this. It's going to surprise a lot of people.
Surprising, it's likely because most accidents happen during landing and takeoff when the plane is close to the ground. As unlikely as it sounds, it's true. Research tells us you can get out of a plane crash alive. I went to the FAA's crash training facility in Oklahoma to get a first-hand look at what it takes to survive.
I've got two on the ground with burning.
Performers DJ AM and Travis Barker ran from a burning plane and survived. This Air France jet crashed in Toronto. All 309 passengers on board lived that day. And in May, this jetliner crashed in Honduras. 5 died, but more than 130 passengers walked away. Though it seems unlikely, research shows nearly 96% of passengers involved in plane crashes survive. Mac McLean with the FAA's Civil Aerospace Medical Institute studies plane crashes and how people respond. What happens on an airplane when an accident has occurred?
About 15% of the people are going to be highly prepared to get up and get out, no matter the situation. Another 15% or so are going to be incapacitated, probably mentally and not physically. The other 70% are somewhere in between and can be roused to meet the situation or lulled into not doing anything if the circumstances don't evolve correctly.
In 1991, U.S. Air Flight number 1493 crashed onto another plane in Los Angeles. All on board survived the initial impact, but 35 of 89 passengers later died from smoke and burns because they couldn't get out of the plane fast enough.
I have the sensation of all this smoke in the cabin, not being able to see anything.
Janet Mazzio was on board U.S. Air 1493.
I couldn't see the exit very well, and that I knew that I had to go 2 seats up to get out over the, I had counted the seats, so I knew where the exit was, so I could feel them. I had to stand in line to exit a burning plane, and I knew that if I didn't get out soon enough, I would die.
Janet was one of the lucky ones that day. She credits her survival with her seat assignment, just 2 rows away from the wing. What's the safest place to sit on an airplane?
Almost any seat is safe. Very rarely do we have that accident that we're preparing for, but if it's a nose end, well, we probably don't want to be in the front of the airplane. If we crash and the tail comes off, well, then we probably don't want to be in the tail, although there again, that has happened and the people in the tail survived and others did not.
Let me try it this way, aisle or window?
I like the aisle. You have a chance of getting out faster.
McLean took me to the FAA's evacuation training plane to show me the best strategies to get out of a smoke-filled plane alive. What should I be thinking right now?
Taking a lay of the land, so to speak. We know where all the exits are.
There's one back there, we're just behind me, and then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in front of me. Okay. All right, let's talk about crash position. What is that position?
Cross your arms. Put your wrists over each other.
So I want to lean against the seat.
Lean against that seat and put your head as far forward as you possibly can with your feet flat on the floor.
All right, what am I accomplishing here then?
You're setting your body up to absorb the energy of the crash in the best way possible.
The smoke begins filling the cabin in seconds. I can't see a thing here. All right, how much time do we have?
We only have 2 minutes tops.
All right, I can't see the exit, but I know I counted the seat back, so I got 1, I got 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, there's debris in front of this exit, so we've got to go to the other one.
Right, come back to your secondary.
All right. Many people at this point make the mistake of grabbing luggage from the overhead bins, which can mean life or death for you and others. Don't do it. Get out fast.
It's time to jump out.
Many people linger at the slide and risk colliding with others and impeding evacuation. McLean says quickly move away from the plane. My training is done. The evacuation had the comfort of not being real. But for survivors like Janet Mazzio, a crash is something that never leaves you.
It changes your perspective on life sometimes. You know, you come away from something like that appreciating every day in a way that you can't possibly if you haven't been through something like that.
Now, something I didn't have in that mock-up you'll find on every commercial plane, that's emergency floor lighting. In a smoky condition, that lighting would come along the aisle, Matt, and it would lead you to the exit. So in addition to counting seat backs, you could watch that light to get you out.
We both fly a lot. When you get on a plane, do you count the rows to the exit?
I do. I'd worked on a story like this several years ago, and I do that. I do things like I make sure I never, sometimes you want to take your shoes off and be comfortable. I never do that till we're safely in the air, because if you do have to exit, who wants to be walking around the runway in December in your bare feet? Another thing I learned there is look at your seat buckle. Could you open that buckle blindly? One of the people there asked me, which way would you open your buckle? And I said, I'm not sure, because they're different.
Right.
And in a smoke condition, that could give you seconds knowing it goes this way or goes this way.
Aisle or window for you from now on, by the way. Aisle?
Aisle guy.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. Anyway, great advice. Lester, thanks very much.
You.
We appreciate it.